So I want to show kind of the canned move, so the default move that everyone kind of builds on. To show you the very first move that everyone learns when they're learning a duck under. And then I'll show you my variation, which is probably a little better fitted for Jiu-jitsu. And it's a little better for Jiu-jitsu because there's a lot of people to grab on, especially in gi. So you want to give them minimal opportunity to grab your clothing and stop you from shooting you. So in this move, we're going to touch our knee to the ground, but know that there's a variation where you don't touch your knee to the ground if your knees are sore. So, come here, Andrew. So the canned default move for a duck under is you have inside tie, they have outside tie. I step into them so they step back a little bit with that foot, and then I'm going to push off that foot and shoot that knee down while I'm throwing this arm over my head. And I'm staying tight on his waist here, okay? So I'm leaving no room here. I'm still got this arm grabbed here. At this point, I'm going to slide my hand around the back while I'm still keeping that grip on the arm. So then I have him here, with that arm grab, and then I would just go to a tie, okay?
Yep.
So the default move here, double inside tie, step towards that foot to the right. If you're shooting with this leg. Both arms are swinging at once here while you pivot and drop that knee down. Kind of like you're a football player, you just cut. I was a lineman, so step, pivot, cut. Make sure you're swinging with both arms. Keep tight on there and then come up and hug. At this point, I'm going to change my grip to this, where I feel like we're comfortable to move on from here. But what I would do is probably lift. Or you can, when you're here, you can drop to a double leg too. But I just want to get to where we're behind the guy. So let me show it one more time before we have any questions. Double inside tie, I step to the right, their foot goes back a little bit. That kind of gives me an opening to swing both arms at the same time like a pendulum. Stay tight and stand back up. Okay? Do you have any questions before we drill it a little bit? Nope. I'll still come around, so. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Learning. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. Okay, sorry, I got the inside ties.
What's up, Greg? You man with the variation.
But a lot of time people will be pulling on your shirt or your lapel, pulling on a wrist. So this isn't really a likely position. So what I like to do is I like to grab one arm with both hands, and you can pull on them and get them to pull back a little bit. And then I like to get the collar tie, okay? And then I'm pulling down. So that's just how I kind of get up into it. 2 hands on the wrist, pull down, work into a collar, because if you don't have the wrist down, you're reaching too much and you're leaving this open. So I like to pull the wrist down, head's on their shoulder, grab the collar, you're pulling down with both hands, and then you kind of let up. And when you let up, that's an opportunity where you can lift the arm. And now you're on the neck instead of the hand. There's no juke, it's just a, okay? So I'm grabbing the wrist and throwing it up, and not getting it caught like this, but throwing it up and reaching under. And at this position, just keep on the neck and grab the waist. Here, you can kind of do whatever you want with them. It's a really uncomfortable position. A lot of the time from there, you're just gonna transition to the back. So, start here, get kind of head to head, grab the neck. A lot of weight's down right now, so he has to pull up or else he's falling on his face. So when I release a little bit, it gives me a little room. You don't want to straighten your arm all the way out. But when you lighten up a little bit, it gives me the opportunity to go here and here. And at full speed, a lot of time they fall to their knees. I don't know if it'll happen here, but we'll give it a shot. So that's kind of my version of the duck under, where you're the one grabbing. It makes it hard for them to grab because they're defending. And then you make a slight opening to just drop this knee down and reach that, step that foot out. Okay? So, any questions on that? I'll walk through it with you too. Okay, 3, 2. They're not used to this. Their default is, let me turn my arm back and get back to neutral, which is the right thought. But look at how off balance I am here to get thin enough to get my arm around and where my weight is. He could throw me. If you just drop to a double leg from here, bad news for me. So if they get this far, you want to grab grips immediately and try to peel them off. And usually you'll get down to here. And this is what we were talking about last week, where you want to oven mitt the hands. Because if I grab at the hands, you'll never get it. You'll never break that grip if you're just pulling at fingers, and you'll probably get caught for doing something like that. But if someone's behind you, you want to pretend like you have oven mitts on and you're trying to open a doorknob like that. And that will help break the grip. And then I'm going to drop my weight, and now I'm free. And I can turn into them, or I can try to run away. But it's about breaking the grip, putting all the weight on there, and then getting your hips out. And if he drops me, like, if we're back to a scramble, and you're in a better position than them throwing you on the ground. So there's not really a defense to this if you do it again. If I left that gap open, you don't fight to stand back up. You want to grab the grips. He can't do anything really from here, especially if he has no hands. So I'm going to try to find him away. At this point, if you can get it away and stand up, you're good.
Show your hand placement again for the top hand right there.
I'm grabbing at the 4 knuckles.
Okay.
See that?
Yeah.
It makes the grip a little weaker. I'm kind of grabbing the 4 knuckles like this. But if he's here, I'm trying to pry on this, grab the knuckles, same here, and keep him away from me. Generally from here, he's going to try to grab here to continue with the takedown. At this point, it's back to the takedown defense from the back, where you're using your hands like oven mitts on a door, on a rotating lot, and get your hips down, okay? And at that point, you're going to want to try to either face them or get to your butt and fight from it. So we'll do it one more time. If I keep my arm down, I can't shoot. If I keep my elbow down, some of that is just keeping it in. But that opens up another door for another move. Maybe he wants to Russian tie me to know how to do that. Now I'm open to Russian tie. There's probably 5 other moves I can't think of right from there. But you don't need to leave your arm there the whole time if I see him drop to a knee. But let's say he got in on it. Grab the hands at all times. If you're grabbing his hands, nobody can attack unless they're doing a crazy trip or something. And then keep him away from you. If he gets on your hips, work at the hands. Put your feet out and hips down, and then scramble back to stand. What I would say is, maybe don't feel so comfortable with wide face punching.
It's too wide?
No.
Okay, so here.